The decision advantage: how to make smart choices quickly. Introduction. Every moment is an opportunity to make a choice. Some decisions are small: where to eat, which route to take. Others are monumental: who to trust, which career path to follow. Regardless of size, every decision shapes our life in ways we often don't fully comprehend. The difference between those who navigate life's complexities with ease and those who struggle lies in one crucial ability: the capacity to make smart, fast choices. In a world where time moves faster than ever, the need to act quickly has become more pressing. Yet speed doesn't have to mean sacrificing quality or insight. The key is understanding how to cut through the noise, harness intuition, and create clarity when the stakes are high. The most successful people aren't necessarily those with the most information, but those who know how to make the right choice with the information at hand, without getting lost in hesitation or second-guessing. You might think that decision-making is a skill reserved for those in positions of power or influence, but the truth is, everyone can benefit from mastering this art. Whether it's in business, relationships, or personal growth, the ability to decide efficiently and effectively impacts every area of life. It's not about making the perfect choice every time, but about making the best choice with what you know and acting on it with confidence. The pressure to make decisions quickly can often lead us to doubt our abilities, second-guess our instincts, or get stuck in analysis paralysis. But the most impactful decisions are made when we trust ourselves and our ability to adapt. Each choice is a step forward, a chance to grow and refine the way we interact with the world. The key to success isn't waiting for the perfect moment to decide, but rather knowing how to adapt, trust your judgment, and act decisively when it matters most. In this journey, you'll discover how to build a mental framework that allows you to make sound decisions under pressure, trust your instincts when the path is unclear, and learn from every choice, whether it succeeds or fails. The tools and practices you'll encounter will help you sharpen your ability to cut through complexity and uncertainty, empowering you to make decisions that not only feel right, but are right for you. The time for action is now, and the advantage lies in your ability to harness the power of decision-making when it counts the most. Chapter 1. The Speed of Thought. The human brain operates at remarkable speeds, processing vast amounts of information in fractions of a second. This ability to rapidly assess situations, draw conclusions, and make decisions is not just a feature of intelligence, it's a survival mechanism deeply embedded in our evolutionary history. When faced with a sudden challenge, our brain instinctively categorizes inputs, compares them to past experiences, and generates a response almost immediately. This quick thinking allows us to navigate the world, make choices in real time, and respond to opportunities and threats without hesitation. The speed at which we think is governed by neural pathways that have been honed through millions of years of adaptation. These pathways are designed to identify patterns and make predictions, often without conscious thought. For example, when we hear the screech of brakes in a busy street, our body reacts before we have a chance to fully process the event. Our brain already knows that this could be a potential danger and triggers a response to protect us. This rapid decision-making process happens so seamlessly that we rarely give it much thought. But in many cases, the speed of our decisions is a double-edged sword. On one hand, quick decisions can be essential in urgent situations, such as when a driver swerves to avoid a collision, or when an athlete anticipates the next move in a game. On the other hand, this speed can sometimes lead to hasty judgments or choices made based on incomplete information. When we operate on autopilot, relying on instinct alone, we may overlook details or fail to account for the broader context. This rapid-fire thinking can, at times, limit our ability to consider all angles or explore deeper solutions. The brain's capacity to process information quickly is not merely an automatic function. It is shaped by experience, practice, and context. The more familiar we are with a situation, the faster and more accurately we can make decisions. Our expertise in certain areas helps us to navigate them swiftly, making decisions that feel almost effortless. For instance, an experienced negotiator or seasoned surgeon can respond to challenges with precision, often making split-second decisions that others might hesitate over. Yet the speed of thought is not purely instinctual. It can be cultivated and enhanced by training the mind to process information more effectively. Cognitive tools such as mindfulness and mental exercises can refine our ability to control the speed at which we think, allowing us to slow down in moments of high pressure and avoid rash decisions. Additionally, decision-making frameworks that incorporate a blend of intuition and rationality allow us to maintain clarity, even when the stakes are high. In understanding the speed of thought, it becomes clear that decision-making is not just about reacting swiftly. It is about understanding how our brain processes information, the limitations of quick thinking, and how we can harness its power to make better choices, faster. The challenge lies in mastering the balance between swift action and deliberate consideration, using both instinct and reason to guide our decisions effectively. Chapter 2. Trusting your instincts. Instincts are not merely reflexive responses to stimuli, but an intricate web of accumulated experiences, knowledge, and subconscious assessments that the mind has developed over time. They arise from deep within, often before we are fully aware of their presence, guiding us to make choices that can feel right on a fundamental level. In many ways, instincts are the brain's way of processing complex patterns quickly, synthesizing information from past encounters, and offering solutions that are embedded within our personal and collective history. The power of these gut feelings lies in their ability to transcend the limits of conscious reasoning. While logic and analysis can be powerful tools, they are often hindered by the weight of too much data and too many possible outcomes. Instinct, however, bypasses that labyrinth of information, narrowing down options and suggesting a path with a certainty that often feels more reliable than carefully plotted strategies. This is because the brain has an extraordinary ability to assess patterns rapidly, making instinctual decisions based on accumulated knowledge that may not always be fully understood in the moment. Consider a seasoned firefighter entering a burning building. While logic might suggest a step-by-step analysis of the best route, it is often the gut feeling of experience that determines the quickest and safest way out. These intuitive decisions are not magical. They are the result of countless hours of training, practice, and exposure to various situations that allow the brain to identify immediate risks and rewards, even if the firefighter cannot articulate why. It's the ability to discern patterns in real time, based on years of small, unnoticed cues, something learned through experience, not taught in textbooks. Similarly, many successful entrepreneurs, artists, and leaders speak of making decisions based on a deep-seated sense of what feels right, even when the data might suggest otherwise. These individuals trust the whispers of their subconscious, knowing that their experiences have honed a sense of judgment that is sharper than any logical model could offer. It's not about ignoring reason. It's about understanding that intuition can complement reason, often serving as the first hint in the decision-making process. However, there's a difference between trusting your instincts and being driven by emotion. Emotional responses can cloud judgment, causing decisions based on fear or excitement that might not lead to favorable outcomes. True instincts are rooted in an accumulated understanding of the world, whereas emotions are more reactive, pulling us toward immediate relief or gratification. To discern the difference, it's important to be attuned to the voice of calm, grounded intuition, which is often quieter and more composed than the rush of emotional responses. One key to enhancing the power of instincts lies in awareness and mindfulness. The more you cultivate an understanding of your inner world, the subtle feelings, thoughts, and physical sensations that arise before a decision, the better you can tune into that instinctual guidance. Practices like meditation, self-reflection, and journaling can help clarify the distinction between instinct and emotional reaction, providing a clearer path to understanding when to trust your gut and when to seek out additional information or second opinions. Trusting your instincts isn't about abandoning logic or embracing impulsiveness. It's about learning to work in harmony with the mind's capacity for fast, intuitive judgment, while balancing it with the more deliberate processes of thought. The real power lies in knowing when to listen to the quiet voice of intuition and when to pause, step back, and allow for more deliberate reflection. In a world that moves faster every day, the ability to trust your instincts with confidence is an invaluable tool in navigating the complexities of decision-making. Chapter 3. Seeing through complexity. Complex situations can feel overwhelming, often presenting us with a web of interconnected problems, decisions, and variables that seem too intricate to navigate. In these moments, it is easy to become paralyzed by the sheer volume of information or the weight of uncertainty. Yet, it is precisely within these dense layers of complexity that the most valuable opportunities and insights lie. The challenge, however, is knowing how to break through the noise and uncover what truly matters, the core elements that will guide you toward clarity and action. At the heart of seeing through complexity is the ability to step back and view the situation from a broader perspective. This requires mental discipline and a deliberate shift away from getting lost in the minutiae. It's about identifying the crucial variables that influence the outcome while filtering out distractions that may cloud judgment. Often, complexity stems from a multitude of factors working in tandem, but the key lies in recognizing patterns and connections between them rather than treating each element in isolation. Consider the process of solving a difficult problem at work, where the issue involves various stakeholders, numerous moving parts, and a tight timeline. On the surface, the situation might appear chaotic, and the complexity might seem insurmountable. However, when broken down, each component of the problem can often be categorized into themes: what needs immediate attention, what can be delegated, and what can be set aside for later consideration. The ability to simplify the layers of complexity allows for clearer thinking and better decision-making. This process of simplification is not about reducing the situation to its bare minimum or ignoring key details. Rather, it's about discerning the elements that will have the most significant impact. It involves distinguishing between what is urgent and what is important, finding the root cause of the issue rather than being overwhelmed by its symptoms. For example, a business leader facing a market downturn must first identify whether the problem lies in customer perception, product quality, or operational inefficiency, rather than being distracted by surface-level fluctuations in sales or minor logistical setbacks. By tracing these challenges back to their source, the leader is able to target the solution more effectively, addressing the true issue rather than expending resources on irrelevant factors. The ability to see through complexity is also rooted in questioning assumptions. Our initial reactions to complex situations are often based on preconceived notions, past experiences, or surface-level analysis. While these can provide useful starting points, they can also lead to tunnel vision. By challenging assumptions and seeking alternative viewpoints, it is possible to uncover hidden dimensions that were not initially apparent. This process requires curiosity and the willingness to embrace discomfort, as it forces us to question the very framework we use to make decisions. Additionally, in complex environments, it's essential to recognize that uncertainty is often a constant. Trying to eliminate all variables or achieve a perfect understanding of every detail can lead to paralysis by analysis. Instead, it's important to focus on what is actionable in the moment and embrace a mindset of experimentation. This means understanding that not every piece of the puzzle needs to be in place before taking action. Sometimes, the most effective approach is to start with the most important elements, see how they interact, and adjust along the way. This iterative process allows for progress, even when the full picture remains incomplete. Breaking down complexity also involves fostering an environment where different perspectives are welcomed. Collaboration, diversity of thought, and open dialogue allow for a more comprehensive understanding of the issue at hand. What one person perceives as critical might not be seen the same way by another. By encouraging diverse viewpoints, we gain access to new ways of thinking and uncover nuances that may have been overlooked in a more homogeneous decision-making process. Ultimately, seeing through complexity requires a combination of clarity, patience, and openness. It's about cultivating the ability to discern the key patterns amid the chaos, honing the skills to prioritize effectively, and embracing a mindset of continuous learning. The more adept we become at breaking down complicated situations, the more empowered we are to make informed, confident decisions that drive us forward, regardless of how tangled the circumstances may seem at first glance. Chapter 4. The Cost of Delay. In a world that moves faster with every passing moment, hesitation can be an expensive luxury. Every second spent waiting for the perfect solution or the ideal conditions is a second wasted, a second where opportunities slip away unnoticed. The cost of delay is not just about the lost time, it's about the opportunities that never come to fruition, the problems that become more complex, and the decisions that become harder as more time passes. When a decision is delayed, the immediate consequence is often a missed opportunity. In business, this could mean losing a competitive edge to a faster-moving rival. In personal life, it might be letting a relationship or goal drift further out of reach. Every delayed action chips away at the potential outcomes we hope for. Yet the true cost of delay is not always immediately visible. It manifests in the ripple effect, the cumulative impact of procrastination on future decisions, actions, and consequences. Consider the choice to invest in a promising idea. If you hesitate, waiting for the market conditions to be just right or for the perfect moment to arrive, it's easy to miss the window of opportunity. Others, with a willingness to act despite uncertainty, seize that chance and reap the rewards. By the time the hesitation ends, the opportunity has either passed or evolved into something less advantageous. In such cases, the delay costs not just the missed chance, but also the ability to influence the trajectory of the situation. Delay isn't only about lost opportunities, it also escalates problems. When difficult decisions are put off, issues compound, making it harder to solve them later. Procrastination in decision-making often leads to decisions being made under pressure, which diminishes the quality of those decisions. The earlier an issue is confronted, the more control we have over the outcome. As time stretches, factors beyond our control tend to influence the situation, shifting the odds against us. The longer we wait, the more difficult it becomes to reassert control and direct the outcome toward a favorable resolution. Moreover, hesitation can erode confidence. Each time we delay making a decision, we reinforce the habit of indecision. This self-doubt can snowball, leading to greater uncertainty in future choices. The more we delay, the more we question our ability to make decisions effectively, further diminishing our resolve and increasing the weight of every choice. Over time, we may become paralyzed by the fear of making the wrong choice, and in the process, we miss the power that comes with decisive action. In fast-paced environments, the cost of delay is amplified. When markets shift or new information becomes available at a rapid rate, waiting for certainty can lead to irreversible consequences. In such situations, the opportunity to adapt is fleeting. Quick decisions are often the only ones that can capitalize on these fleeting windows. Success in these instances does not come from waiting for the ideal solution, but from adapting swiftly to the available information and moving forward without regret. The hesitation that leads to delay can also be a product of perfectionism. The desire to make the right decision, to wait for every detail to align perfectly, can stop us from taking action. However, waiting for perfection is a dangerous trap. The best decisions often arise not from flawless information, but from clarity of direction. Perfectionism locks us in a loop of analysis, making it impossible to take decisive action. In contrast, a willingness to move forward with a sound but imperfect decision can propel us into new and beneficial territory, even if the path is not entirely clear at first. A key factor in overcoming the cost of delay is shifting the mindset from fear of making mistakes to viewing decisions as learning opportunities. In many cases, the path forward is not a straight line, and no decision is ever entirely free from risk. But the greater risk lies in doing nothing at all. Each step, even a misstep, leads to new insights, growth, and eventual success. Waiting for perfect clarity, on the other hand, may result in an opportunity slipping away. The concept of action bias comes into play here, the natural human tendency to want to act when faced with uncertainty. Though often seen as a flaw, it can be harnessed to break free from the paralysis of inaction. Embracing swift, calculated action often results in better outcomes than waiting for everything to align perfectly. By making decisions promptly, we retain the momentum needed to move forward and adjust course as necessary, rather than being trapped by the inertia of indecision. In some cases, delaying decisions can actually breed negative consequences that aren't immediately visible. Relationships, whether personal or professional, thrive on communication, trust, and mutual respect. Delaying difficult conversations or decisions can lead to misunderstandings or resentment, creating a snowball effect that damages the relationship over time. Similarly, when business opportunities are delayed, competitors who are more proactive can take the lead, leaving the hesitant party trailing behind. Ultimately, the cost of delay is the price of progress denied. While thoughtful reflection has its place, the failure to act promptly can have cascading effects that far outweigh the initial discomfort of making a decision quickly. Recognizing when a choice must be made and acting with purpose paves the way for better outcomes, fosters growth, and prevents the stagnation that comes with waiting for perfect conditions that may never arrive. Chapter 5. The Mental Tools for Clarity. In a world brimming with noise, distractions, and constant demands on our attention, the ability to achieve clarity of thought is an invaluable skill. The path to confident decision-making is often clouded by indecision, fear, and an overwhelming rush of information. But it is within this storm that the power to find clarity lies. Understanding how to clear the fog in our minds and sharpen our decision-making process is an essential tool for anyone who wants to act decisively and effectively. Clarity is not a product of waiting for perfect conditions, nor is it about having all the answers up front. It's about creating mental space, allowing the mind to breathe and think without the weight of unnecessary complexity. Just as a storm eventually clears, the brain can be trained to recognize patterns, sift through noise, and hone in on the core elements of a decision. It is through this process that confidence emerges and action follows. One of the most powerful tools for achieving mental clarity is the ability to break down a problem into smaller, more manageable components. When faced with a complex issue, the natural instinct may be to feel overwhelmed, unsure of where to begin. However, clarity emerges when the complexity is segmented and understood piece by piece. This method not only prevents the mind from feeling flooded with too much at once, but it also allows the decision-maker to see where the real challenges and opportunities lie. It's about zooming out and recognizing that even the most intricate problems are often composed of simpler, solvable elements. By approaching a challenge step by step, it becomes easier to navigate toward a resolution without getting lost in the larger picture. In addition to breaking down problems, another key element in clearing mental fog is learning to quiet the noise of external distractions. We are constantly bombarded with opinions, data, and expectations from all directions. To make decisions with clarity, it is crucial to filter out irrelevant information. The most effective decision makers are not those who absorb every detail, but those who know what to ignore. By cultivating an ability to focus solely on the most important variables, we prevent ourselves from drowning in an ocean of data that does little to aid our judgment. Mindfulness practices play a significant role in this process. Through meditation or deep reflection, the mind learns to observe its thoughts without attachment. This practice creates an emotional detachment that enables us to view decisions more objectively. When the emotions of anxiety, fear, or excitement cloud judgment, taking a step back and letting the mind settle helps in regaining clarity. By training the mind to remain present and aware of its thoughts without being swept away by them, it becomes easier to make decisions based on reason and not reactive impulses. One of the most potent techniques for fostering mental clarity is to simply slow down. In a fast-paced world, we often feel pressured to make rapid decisions. However, the instinct to rush is often a barrier to clear thinking. Speed doesn't always lead to the best choices. In fact, taking the time to pause and reflect, even if just for a few minutes, allows us to regain composure and reassess the situation with fresh eyes. Slowing down is not about procrastination, but about giving the mind the time it needs to filter through the noise and assess the key elements that truly matter. Equally important is learning to trust our own internal guidance system. When the mind is cluttered, it's difficult to hear our intuition, which is often the most reliable source of clarity. While it's important to analyze the facts, sometimes the key to a clear decision is knowing when to trust that inner sense of knowing. When the mind is calm and present, it becomes easier to tap into this deeper awareness, guiding us toward choices that feel aligned with our values and goals. Another powerful tool for clarity is simplifying the decision-making process. Instead of weighing every possible option against a multitude of outcomes, focus on what really matters, the criteria that are most aligned with your objectives. By narrowing down the options and asking yourself what outcome is truly meaningful, the decision-making process becomes clearer. Often, we make things more complicated than they need to be, obsessing over factors that ultimately won't have a major impact. Reducing the number of variables allows for more effective decision-making. Additionally, clarity thrives when we let go of perfectionism. The pursuit of perfection can often cloud judgment, as we focus on finding the perfect answer rather than the right one. This obsession with perfection can paralyze decision-making, leaving us stuck in a cycle of second-guessing and doubt. By accepting that decisions are rarely flawless, and that the best course of action is often the one that moves us forward, we create space for clarity to emerge. Understanding that mistakes are part of the process helps reduce the pressure to make the perfect decision and allows us to focus on progress instead. Finally, gaining clarity in decision-making often requires an ability to embrace uncertainty. It's easy to become bogged down by the fear of making the wrong choice. However, it is in the embrace of uncertainty that clarity can flourish. Accepting that not every decision will have a clear-cut outcome allows us to make choices with less emotional baggage. Rather than waiting for perfect certainty, we learn to move forward with the information at hand, trusting that clarity will reveal itself as we proceed. Mastering these tools doesn't guarantee an absence of challenges or tough choices, but it does create a solid foundation for clear and confident decision-making. When clarity becomes a practice, a routine that is cultivated and refined, it becomes a reliable guide that leads to better choices and more fulfilling outcomes. Chapter 6. Learning from experience. Every choice we make, whether big or small, adds to the body of knowledge we carry. Experience is not simply the sum of moments, it's the guidepost for future actions. It's easy to overlook how much our past decisions shape how we approach new challenges. Yet behind every successful decision lies a trail of mistakes, missed opportunities, and learning moments. The key to growth is not just in making more choices, but in reflecting on the outcomes, extracting the lessons, and then applying them when faced with a new decision. Our experiences don't merely stand as isolated incidents, they build on one another. When we look back at the decisions we've made, we see patterns, moments where our intuition guided us right, or where we faltered because we ignored key signals. These experiences become a compass for future choices, providing us with insight that books advice, or even expertise can't offer. With each lesson learned, we grow wiser in our judgment, more adept at spotting the early warning signs of both opportunity and risk. It's this accumulated wisdom that provides the foundation for making better decisions, and in turn, making quicker, more confident ones when the moment arrives. The past is not meant to be a burden or a place to dwell, but a tool to shape the decisions of today. Instead of getting lost in the negative feelings attached to mistakes, embracing them as stepping stones creates room for improvement. Reflection on past decisions, especially the ones we regret, can highlight overlooked factors or decisions we wish we had reconsidered. Such reflections allow us to form a set of principles, a mental framework, to navigate future decisions with greater awareness. Chapter 7. Balancing Speed and Accuracy. The balance between speed and accuracy is one of the most crucial aspects of effective decision-making. In a world that demands immediate action, the pressure to move quickly often collides with the need for thoroughness. However, the ability to strike a balance between these two opposing forces is not only possible, but also essential for achieving optimal results. In fact, achieving this equilibrium is the hallmark of the most skilled decision-makers. It's easy to assume that quick decisions are inherently risky or poorly informed, but that is not always the case. Speed doesn't mean carelessness. It's about having the confidence to make decisions based on available data without getting bogged down in unnecessary deliberation. Speed is especially critical in environments where time is limited, and hesitation can lead to missed opportunities, or worse, stagnation. The ability to make choices swiftly, without overthinking, often comes down to trust. Trust in your knowledge, instincts, and previous experiences. At the same time, making decisions too hastily can lead to mistakes. Accurate decisions are the product of careful consideration, of weighing all relevant information and factoring in potential risks. The danger lies in acting too quickly without pausing to consider the full scope of a situation. Thus, knowing when to slow down, even momentarily, to gather critical information, reflect on past choices, and assess the consequences is equally important. A delicate balance is required, the discipline to act quickly when needed, combined with the wisdom to ensure that speed doesn't come at the cost of accuracy. Chapter 8. Removing Emotional Barriers. One of the greatest obstacles to clear decision-making is the presence of strong emotions. Whether it's fear, excitement, frustration, or anger, emotions can cloud judgment and skew perceptions, leading to decisions that may be regretted later. While it's natural to feel emotions in response to significant choices, learning how to manage them is essential for staying focused and making choices grounded in reason and logic. Emotions, particularly intense ones, can trigger automatic responses, gut reactions that don't always align with our best interests. In these moments, we often act impulsively, propelled by a desire to relieve discomfort or achieve a quick outcome. Yet, it is in these moments that we are most prone to poor decision-making. Recognizing the influence of emotions and taking steps to temper their impact is vital. It's not about suppressing emotions, but about developing the ability to pause, recognize the emotional response, and then decide whether it should drive the decision or be set aside for a more thoughtful approach. Taking a moment to breathe, step back, or even take a short walk can reset the emotional state, providing space for a more balanced perspective. Acknowledging emotions and understanding their roots allows for more conscious choices, particularly in high-stress situations. By maintaining awareness of emotional triggers and the physiological responses they create, it becomes easier to separate emotional impulses from rational decision-making. Chapter 9. The Power of Simplification. In a world saturated with choices, complexity often leads to confusion and indecision. When faced with too many options, we tend to become overwhelmed and paralyzed by the sheer volume of decisions. In contrast, simplifying choices clears the fog, allowing for a more focused and confident approach to decision-making. The ability to simplify doesn't mean reducing the value or importance of the decision. It means stripping away the unnecessary layers to focus on what truly matters. The first step toward simplification is clarity. By identifying the core objectives of a decision, it becomes easier to narrow down the possible choices and discard irrelevant or distracting factors. The simpler the decision-making process, the quicker and more confidently it can be made. For instance, when facing a complex challenge, ask yourself, what's the one thing that will make the biggest difference? What will have the most impact on the desired outcome? By focusing on these essential elements, you reduce the mental clutter that often clouds judgment. Another powerful strategy is to create frameworks for decision-making. These frameworks can be as simple as a checklist or a set of guiding principles that help filter out unnecessary variables. When the decision-making process is guided by a clear structure, it becomes easier to make choices without getting caught up in extraneous details. This not only accelerates the decision-making process, but also ensures that choices are aligned with your overarching goals, keeping you on track and moving forward with confidence. In a world of constant noise and endless options, simplicity is a powerful tool for clarity and effectiveness. By honing the ability to simplify choices, you can ensure that decisions are made not out of overwhelm or confusion, but from a place of focus and intention. Chapter 10. The Role of Risk. Risk is an inescapable element of decision-making. From the smallest personal choice to the most significant business or life-altering decision, risk is present in varying degrees. However, risk does not have to be seen as an obstacle or something to avoid. Instead, it is a fundamental part of progress and growth. Understanding how to assess and manage risk, especially in high-pressure situations, is crucial for maintaining momentum without allowing fear or uncertainty to dictate the outcome. When making decisions under pressure, it is easy to become paralyzed by the possibility of failure. The human brain is wired to seek safety and avoid danger, which can sometimes trigger an automatic fear response. In these moments, the key is to differentiate between perceived and actual risks. Often, the fear of making a wrong choice is far greater than the actual risk involved. Recognizing that most risks are not as catastrophic as they may initially seem can be empowering. The fear of failure can often cloud the rational assessment of risks, causing us to hesitate or even avoid making necessary decisions altogether. To manage risk effectively, it is essential to break it down into measurable components. Instead of viewing risk as an overwhelming monolithic force, consider it in terms of the likelihood of an outcome and its potential impact. By quantifying both the potential benefits and consequences, it becomes possible to weigh the trade-offs with a clearer perspective. This methodical approach allows decision-makers to take informed risks rather than acting impulsively or avoiding decisions altogether. Moreover, the ability to adapt to risk is essential for maintaining momentum. High-pressure situations often require fast action, and decisions made under time constraints can feel particularly daunting. In these instances, it's important to trust your intuition and experience. While thorough analysis is essential, there are moments when swift decisions must be made, guided by instinct and the wisdom accumulated from past experiences. In these cases, the key is to make decisions with the information available and avoid overthinking the potential outcomes. The longer you dwell on the risk, the more it becomes a hindrance to progress. Acting decisively, even in the face of uncertainty, can propel you forward, often with better outcomes than a delay or inaction. Risk management is not about eliminating all uncertainty. It's about controlling what you can and accepting what you cannot. Every decision, especially those made in high-pressure moments, involves a certain level of uncertainty. The ability to make decisions confidently, even in the face of unknowns, is what separates those who excel from those who remain stuck. By embracing risk as part of the process, you open the door to new possibilities, innovation, and growth. In high-pressure decisions, the role of risk is not to paralyze you, but to push you to make choices with courage and clarity. When managed correctly, risk becomes a tool for growth rather than a threat. It is not the avoidance of risk that leads to success, but the capacity to move forward, even when the outcome is uncertain. The willingness to embrace risk while staying grounded in the present moment and relying on your judgment enables you to continue progressing with confidence. Chapter 11. Confidence in the face of uncertainty. In a world where the only certainty is uncertainty, the ability to make decisions with limited information is not just a useful skill, it is essential. The challenge of navigating ambiguity often strikes at the heart of decision-making, testing our ability to trust ourselves and our instincts when the facts are incomplete. Whether in business, personal life, or any high-stakes situation, the pressure to act without all the answers can be daunting. However, it is in these moments that true leadership, resilience, and judgment are forged. In the absence of clear answers, a common reaction is hesitation or indecision, stemming from the fear of making a wrong choice. The desire for certainty, while understandable, often leads to inaction, which in itself can be more damaging than making a decision with limited information. The key to thriving in such situations lies in embracing uncertainty rather than resisting it. The most successful individuals recognize that decisions, even imperfect ones, are better than no decision at all. They understand that waiting for complete certainty often means losing valuable opportunities. When faced with uncertainty, the first step is to shift your mindset. Rather than viewing the situation as a daunting challenge, see it as an opportunity for growth and learning. With limited information, you may not be able to predict every outcome, but you can focus on what you do know. In moments of uncertainty, your experience and intuition become your guiding light. Trusting in your ability to make the best choice with the resources at hand builds confidence. Each decision, regardless of the result, provides a valuable lesson that strengthens your decision-making abilities moving forward. It's important to recognize that uncertainty is not synonymous with chaos. Often, the pieces of the puzzle are scattered, but they are not all hidden. Sometimes the act of moving forward, taking small steps even without all the data, can reveal insights that were previously obscured. The act of decision-making in itself brings clarity. By consistently making decisions, even when the outcome is unclear, you increase your adaptability and mental flexibility, allowing you to refine your approach over time. Confidence in these situations is rooted not in the guarantee of success, but in the acceptance of the unknown. When you are comfortable with ambiguity, you no longer fear it. Instead, you develop an approach that allows you to make choices even when all the facts are not laid out before you. This doesn't mean you act recklessly. It means you are able to move forward with the information available, knowing that not every factor can be controlled. As a result, you become more attuned to the signals and patterns that emerge during the decision-making process, which in turn informs better choices. A willingness to act in the face of uncertainty requires a degree of humility. Recognizing that no decision is completely risk-free and that mistakes will inevitably be made is liberating. Rather than focusing on the potential for failure, focus on the possibilities that come from learning and adapting. This perspective fosters a mindset where decisions are not seen as final or irreversible, but as part of an ongoing journey of growth and refinement. Each decision made in uncertainty serves as a stepping stone to greater wisdom and ultimately to more confident choices in the future. To make the best decision in uncertain times, the goal is not to seek out perfect information, but to trust your process and inner judgment. This kind of confidence grows from repeated experience, having faced the unknown before, and seeing that while not all decisions lead to the desired outcome, all of them lead to learning. Confidence, then, is not the absence of fear or doubt, but the ability to move through them with purpose and clarity, knowing that each decision is an opportunity to grow and improve. Chapter 12. Building Decision-Making Routines. When faced with numerous decisions each day, it is easy to become overwhelmed by the sheer volume of choices we must make. From the smallest preferences, like what to eat for lunch, to life-altering choices, such as career moves or relationship changes, our minds are constantly engaged in a process of filtering, assessing, and acting. The key to navigating this ocean of decisions with efficiency and confidence lies in building decision-making routines that not only enhance our speed, but also improve our effectiveness. These routines are the mental scaffolding that supports us when we face the most complex and crucial decisions. Decision-making is often seen as an isolated event, a singular moment when the weight of the world seems to rest on our choices. But in reality, our decisions are influenced by the routines and habits we form in our daily lives. The more we create consistent patterns for how we approach decisions, the easier it becomes to act quickly and confidently, no matter the stakes. This is where the power of routines comes into play. By establishing frameworks that streamline our thinking, we remove the burden of indecision and open the door to faster, more thoughtful choices. The first step in building these routines is understanding that decision-making is not a matter of sudden inspiration, but a product of preparation. Just as athletes don't perform their best without hours of practice, effective decision-makers rely on systems that allow them to think and act with ease. Routines create an automatic flow, enabling the brain to focus on the important aspects of a decision rather than on the overwhelming details. One of the most impactful strategies in creating decision-making routines is learning to prioritize. Every decision is not of equal importance, and the ability to discern what matters most is critical. By making this a daily habit, we begin to filter out the noise, allowing us to focus our energy and attention on the areas that will lead to meaningful results. When routines are built around prioritization, we can tackle the most urgent matters first, avoiding procrastination and ensuring that smaller, less critical decisions do not consume all of our mental bandwidth. Another essential element of a solid decision-making routine is the development of quick, reliable strategies for gathering information. In many cases, we hesitate to make decisions because we feel we lack sufficient knowledge or data. But seeking perfection in information can delay decisions for far longer than necessary. A routine that involves knowing where and how to gather the relevant facts quickly helps cut through uncertainty. Rather than aiming for exhaustive details, the goal is to identify the most important pieces of information, assess their relevance, and use them as a guide for action. Equally important is the integration of reflection into the routine. High-performing decision-makers do not just make choices and move on, they routinely reflect on the decisions they've made, assessing their outcomes and learning from both successes and failures. This practice, done consistently, helps to refine the decision-making process over time. By building reflection into your routine, you begin to recognize patterns in your thinking, identify what works best for you, and improve your ability to make better decisions moving forward. Routine also involves reducing mental clutter, making space for clarity and creativity. Many decisions are clouded by internal distractions, fear, overthinking, and emotional bias. By creating mental habits that promote calmness and focus, such as mindfulness or simplifying complex situations, you can clear the mental fog and open up the channels for more effective thinking. A routine that includes these mental practices enables you to be more present in the moment, preventing past experiences or future anxieties from interfering with your judgment. Furthermore, decision-making routines should be flexible enough to evolve as new circumstances arise. Rigid systems may work for a while, but can become limiting when faced with unexpected challenges. Embracing a mindset of adaptation allows your decision-making routines to grow with you. It is this balance between consistency and flexibility that provides a robust foundation for making sound choices in both predictable and unpredictable situations. To truly build a decision-making routine that enhances both speed and effectiveness, one must practice with intention. Like any habit, decision-making routines require time and dedication to develop. They don't emerge overnight, but are the result of daily commitment to refining how we think and act. The more you consciously cultivate routines that support your decisions, the more seamlessly they integrate into your life, allowing you to handle any situation with the clarity and confidence of a seasoned, decision maker. By focusing on building these habits, you transform decision-making from an anxious, draining task into a fluid, natural process that supports your growth and success across all areas of life. The beauty of decision-making routines lies in their power to simplify the complex and accelerate progress, creating a life where momentum becomes the driving force behind every choice. Chapter 13. The Impact of Environment. The decisions we make are never made in a vacuum. Our surroundings shape us in ways both subtle and obvious, affecting how we think, feel, and act. Whether we realize it or not, the environment around us plays a central role in the choices we make. This is not limited to physical space alone. The people we interact with, the tools at our disposal, and even the broader cultural and societal context we operate within all play significant roles in decision-making. Consider the impact of stress. A high-stress environment with constant pressure can force a person into a reactive mode rather than a reflective one. Decisions in such settings are often rushed, with little room for careful consideration. The brain's instinct is to focus on immediate threats, disregarding long-term consequences. On the other hand, an environment that fosters calm and mindfulness encourages deeper thinking, creating room for better decisions. Studies have shown that when people work in spaces designed for creativity or when they are given a moment of solitude in their decision-making, the results are often more thoughtful and well-rounded. The people around us can also influence the choices we make, sometimes in ways we are not fully aware of. Groupthink, peer pressure, or even the actions of a charismatic leader can steer individuals toward decisions they might not otherwise make. Often, the need for social belonging or the desire to align with a group outweighs personal judgment. This is why it is crucial to recognize the influence of external forces and take steps to create environments that encourage independent thinking and wise decision-making. Another dimension is the tools and systems available in our environment. Consider the role of technology in modern decision-making. The overwhelming availability of information at the touch of a button can either empower or paralyze a person. In environments flooded with data, it can become difficult to filter out the noise and focus on what matters most. Decision-making tools, such as models, frameworks, and algorithms, can streamline choices, but they must be used carefully to avoid overwhelming us with complexity. Moreover, the broader cultural and societal context we operate within dictates the framework through which we evaluate choices. Societies emphasize different values, creating different pressures and expectations. In some environments, risk-taking is rewarded, while in others, conformity is the preferred route. These societal pressures can deeply influence how individuals view risks, opportunities, and the very act of decision-making itself. The environment, both immediate and societal, constantly shapes our perceptions and can either encourage decisive action or induce hesitation. In high-stakes decision-making, the impact of environment becomes even more pronounced. The ability to perform under pressure is often dependent on the context in which a person is placed. A leader in a business meeting, a surgeon in an operating room, or a soldier on the battlefield all must contend with the demands of their environment. Each setting presents unique challenges, but each also offers the opportunity to influence the outcome by creating an environment that promotes clarity, focus, and calm. Building a decision-friendly environment is key to improving how we make choices, whether it's creating spaces that allow for creativity and reflection, curating the people we surround ourselves with to foster constructive discussions, or ensuring that the systems and tools available are aligned with our goals. The environment has the power to either amplify or diminish our decision-making capacity. We must recognize this and harness it to our advantage. In the fast-paced, decision-heavy world we live in, the best choices are often made when the right environmental conditions are in place. By understanding the profound impact that context and surroundings have on decision-making, we can begin to design our environments in ways that foster smarter, quicker decisions enhancing our ability to act with both speed and clarity. Chapter 14. Reflecting on Choices. The path to mastery in decision-making is paved with reflection. To make better choices tomorrow, it's essential to understand the choices we made today. Reflection is not merely about looking back on past decisions. It is about gaining insight from them, identifying patterns, and using that knowledge to improve our future actions. The practice of reflecting on choices becomes a powerful tool in sharpening both our intuition and our reasoning. One of the greatest challenges in making quick, effective decisions is that we often operate on autopilot. Our instincts guide us, our emotions influence us, and our habits dictate our actions. While these forces can be helpful, they can also lead us astray if not carefully examined. To make sound decisions, it's important to pause and critically assess both the process we followed and the outcome we achieved. This is where the practice of reflection becomes invaluable. Take a moment to think about a recent decision you made that didn't go as planned. Rather than focusing solely on the outcome, look deeper into how the decision unfolded. What assumptions did you make? Were there any biases or external pressures influencing your thinking? What information did you overlook? And what emotions shaped your perspective? By understanding these underlying factors, you begin to peel back the layers of your decision-making process, gaining a deeper awareness of how you operate in high-stakes situations. The act of reflecting on choices also requires cultivating an attitude of curiosity rather than judgment. Too often, we approach past mistakes with self-criticism, chastising ourselves for not getting it right the first time. This negative mindset stifles growth. Instead, adopt a mindset that views each decision as an opportunity to learn. The best decision-makers are not those who avoid mistakes entirely, but those who extract valuable lessons from every outcome, whether successful or not. When we embrace mistakes as learning experiences, we develop a deeper understanding of ourselves and the environments in which we operate. In addition to evaluating past decisions, it's equally important to reflect on our decision-making process itself. Was the decision-making framework you used effective? Did you allow enough time for analysis, or did you rush through the process? Was your emotional state a contributing factor? Were you confident in your reasoning, or did you second-guess yourself? By systematically analyzing your approach, you can refine the steps you take before making decisions, allowing for more thoughtful, deliberate choices in the future. One practical way to facilitate reflection is to create a decision journal. This simple but powerful tool helps you track your choices, the factors that influence them, and the results. Over time, patterns begin to emerge, revealing both strengths and areas for improvement. A journal allows you to look back objectively and compare how you approach decisions in different contexts. Whether it's work-related decisions, personal choices, or long-term goals, a decision journal can serve as a mirror, reflecting both your successes and opportunities for growth. In addition, regular reflection encourages the development of emotional intelligence. When we pause to examine how we felt during the decision-making process, we can start to identify emotional triggers and learn to manage them. Emotions can either cloud judgment or enhance it, depending on how we handle them. By reflecting on the role of emotions in our decisions, we become more adept at recognizing when we are being unduly influenced and when we are able to harness those emotions in a productive way. Reflection also brings clarity about the consequences of our decisions. It is easy to focus solely on immediate results, but the true value of a choice often becomes clearer with time. Reflecting on both short-term and long-term consequences helps us connect the dots and identify trends in the outcomes we produce. When we see that certain types of decisions lead to similar results, we can refine our future choices to produce more favorable outcomes. The process of reflecting on choices also strengthens our ability to navigate uncertainty. It sharpens our ability to predict future challenges and recognize potential pitfalls before they arise. This foresight, developed through consistent reflection, builds confidence in our decision-making abilities. We become more prepared to handle ambiguity because we have practiced using past experiences as a guide. Over time, this practice transforms decision-making from a reactive process into a proactive one. Ultimately, the goal of reflecting on choices is to create a cycle of continuous improvement. It is not enough to simply recognize past mistakes or acknowledge successes. The real growth comes when we actively seek ways to adjust our approach, refine our judgment, and strengthen our capacity to make decisions that align with our values and goals. Through reflection, we take ownership of our decisions, ensuring that each one becomes a stepping stone toward greater clarity, confidence, and success. Chapter 15. Mastering the Art of Quick Decision-Making. The ability to make quick decisions is more than just a skill. It is an art, honed through practice, awareness, and the mastery of several interwoven techniques. While many people rely on slow, deliberative decision-making processes, the true mastery lies in knowing when to make decisions rapidly and how to ensure these decisions are effective, despite the limited time or information available. Quick decision-making isn't about hastily jumping to conclusions, but about using the right tools and mindset to arrive at effective choices when time is of the essence. At its core, rapid decision-making requires the ability to filter the noise from the signal, to discern what truly matters from what doesn't. One of the most powerful tools in this process is clarity of purpose. Without a clear understanding of your objectives, the decisions you make will lack direction and might lead to scattered outcomes. The more you align your decisions with your core values and the larger goals you are pursuing, the more efficient and effective your decision-making will become. It's about knowing where you want to go before you embark on the journey and understanding which forks in the road matter and which can be bypassed. With practice, this clarity becomes instinctive, enabling you to bypass unnecessary contemplation and move directly toward the necessary action. Equally important is the ability to trust your instincts. There are times when the best decision comes from listening to your inner voice, the one that has been shaped by experience, knowledge, and a deep understanding of the situation at hand. Instincts aren't always based on conscious reasoning, but rather on the subconscious processing of past experiences. While it's tempting to second-guess ourselves, a key component of quick decision-making is knowing when to listen to that inner compass. The more frequently you trust your instincts, the sharper they become, allowing you to make decisions swiftly and with confidence. The speed of decision-making also hinges on the ability to remain calm under pressure. In chaotic situations, the body's natural response is often to panic, to freeze, or to rush through choices in a flurry of anxiety. Yet, decision-making is at its peak when it is done with a calm mind. Taking a breath, even in high-pressure moments, can create the space needed to see through the noise and focus on the essentials. This is why so many successful leaders, entrepreneurs, and professionals in high-stakes environments place such a premium on emotional control. The ability to detach from emotions allows the decision-maker to process information more logically and avoid impulsive, regrettable choices. In fast-paced environments, another crucial element is the ability to simplify complex problems. The more you can reduce a decision to its core components, the quicker you can evaluate it. Often, we overcomplicate matters, inundating ourselves with excessive information or debating irrelevant aspects of a problem. By learning to focus on the key elements that directly influence the outcome, you can bypass distractions and make the necessary choice in less time. The art of simplification becomes particularly powerful when combined with frameworks and mental models that allow for quicker assessments of the situation. The importance of perspective cannot be overstated. Decision-making is as much about understanding the broader context as it is about analyzing the specific details. The ability to zoom out and see the larger picture enables you to evaluate the situation with more insight and foresight. This broader perspective not only helps with fast decision-making, but also with ensuring that these quick choices align with long-term objectives. Great decision makers have a knack for balancing the immediate decision with future implications, allowing them to move quickly while keeping their eyes on the ultimate goal. Moreover, speed in decision-making is inherently linked to the capacity to embrace uncertainty. Often, rapid decisions come with incomplete information or ambiguous outcomes. The willingness to make a choice without waiting for perfect clarity or all the pieces to fall into place is one of the hallmarks of effective decision makers. In fact, waiting for absolute certainty often leads to inaction, which can be more detrimental than a swift, imperfect decision. Learning to become comfortable with the discomfort of uncertainty allows decision makers to operate decisively, knowing that action, even if flawed, is often better than no action at all. There are also moments when the decision itself may not be the most important thing. The ability to act quickly with a sense of momentum becomes the key to success. The faster you move through the process of evaluating and choosing, the faster you can adjust and iterate. Quick decision-making doesn't necessarily imply perfection on the first try. It implies a continual process of learning and refining as you go. In a rapidly changing environment, the ability to remain flexible and adapt as circumstances evolve is crucial. As you continue to develop your quick decision-making ability, you'll find that the more you practice these tools, the more intuitive they become. Just like any art form, the mastery of quick decision-making comes with consistent application. With time, you'll be able to access clarity, intuition, emotional control, simplification, perspective, and adaptability more effortlessly. The key is to engage these elements not as isolated strategies but as an integrated approach, blending them together seamlessly in a way that suits the specific demands of each decision-making scenario. This approach transforms the act of decision-making from a reactive process into one that feels almost instinctual, guiding you to the best outcomes in less time and with greater ease. Conclusion: the journey through mastering the art of quick decision-making reveals a simple truth. The ability to make smart, rapid choices is not reserved for a select few, but is a skill that can be developed and refined by anyone willing to practice and engage with the process. Every decision, no matter how small or monumental, shapes the path ahead, and by enhancing our decision-making abilities, we gain the power to influence the trajectory of our lives and careers. The key to swift, effective choices lies in embracing a combination of clarity, intuition, emotional control, and perspective. Each of these elements allows us to see beyond the immediate complexity of a situation and focus on what truly matters. With practice, decision-making becomes less about avoiding mistakes and more about learning from them, refining our strategies over time, and making confident choices, even when the stakes are high or information is limited. In a world that constantly demands faster responses, the art of quick decision-making isn't about rushing without thought. It's about acting decisively with purpose and balance. The tools and strategies outlined in this book don't just help in moments of urgency. They are meant to be integrated into the fabric of everyday life, creating a foundation upon which to build better, more informed decisions over the long term. Mastery of decision-making doesn't arrive overnight, nor does it mean making flawless choices every time. What it does mean is having the ability to move with confidence, knowing that you can trust your instincts, navigate complexity, and adjust course when necessary. As you continue to apply these techniques, you'll find that your capacity to make informed, timely decisions will not only improve, but will become second nature. Ultimately, the art of quick decision-making is about much more than just making the right choice at the right moment. It's about honing a mindset that allows you to thrive in an unpredictable world, one that's filled with endless possibilities, challenges, and opportunities. By embracing this mindset, you open yourself to greater success, both in your professional endeavors and in your personal growth, navigating life with purpose, clarity, and unwavering confidence.